Just what are the best spells in Baldur's Gate 3? Well, there are 6 levels of spells to choose from, multiple options, so what just are the best ones that you can pick? Now this is my personal top 10, so let's jump into some combat. At number 10 is the Hunger of Hadar. Creatures within this black sphere blinded and take damage at the end of their turn and the start of their turn. This is of course a concentration spell. It lasts for 10 turns and it is 4 to 24 damage. And this is one of my favourite spells. I've used this often because of just how versatile it is. Especially if you have people that can just stand in this and do damage and force opponents like this to come towards you, they are going to take damage every time they have to run through this sphere. So if you can sort of create a choke point in a situation like this, you really are just laughing with how good the spell can be. As you can see, it's so hard for them to shoot through this just sphere of darkness that they are trapped within. And you'll still see that the people are suffering inside. And you can see they took 6 damage at the start of their turn. Now it is also tough terrain, so they do have to walk extra slowly through it. And if you can be in a position where you can sort of just throw them back a little bit, it might not work because Jaheira isn't the strongest. But if you could do something like that, they are back within the hunger. Now when they stop their turn, they will once again take damage. Okay, number 9. This I think pairs very well. This is Cloud Kill. This is a phenomenal spell. We're going to cast this up. And you'll see just how much damage it is. 29 damage he took with no save. These guys took 15 and 14, I believe. And they made their save on it. It's a high density spell. And if you can couple this with a barbarian who's immune to poison, or a ranger who can just stand in here and do damage, pair it with, for example, the Hunger of Hadar, where they are just stuck within this sphere of darkness. They'll now take the poison damage as well as the cold damage. You could even pair this with another spell we will look at shortly, which will keep people trapped. There's so many versatile options for this spell that I think are just amazing. You'll see he just took 34 chunk of damage just from being within these 2 spells we have just cast. It is an amazing spell. Okay, number 8, we have Spirit Guardians. Call forth spirits to protect you. Nearby enemies take 3 to 24 radiant damage, or 3 to 24 necrotic damage per turn, and their movement speed is halved. Again, this is a concentration spell, but you can throw this up, and it lasts with you. It moves as you move, and essentially any enemy that comes towards you will take damage for being within a sphere within you. It's not the biggest amount of damage, but if you do have enemies that are weak to radiant or necrotic, this extra little bit of damage just for coming towards you can be amazing. It can really be a good deterrent from keeping people away from you. Okay, at number 7 we have Everard's Black Tentacles. Tentacles sprout from the ground, turn the area difficult terrain, attacking and smothering creatures within. This is again a phenomenal spell. We are going to cast it on ourselves a little bit, which isn't ideal, but this is a spell that honestly saved me so many times. So many times. It is concentration, so please bear that in mind, but for what it's worth, I think it is one of the best spells because it will keep people trapped within wherever they are, very struggling to move, and if you can cast it by there is someone with a Cloud Kill or with a Hunger of Hadar, like in this sort of sphere of death we have here, you will just do mass damage without having to do anything else. It is such a good spell. It's also a very good utility spell if you want to stop people coming towards you. Yeah, you can't go wrong with this spell, I promise you. Number 6 is one of the best spells in the game in my opinion, and it is a spell you can buff through invocations, and that is Eldritch Blast. What I think makes this so good is how you can stack damage on it, or how you can make it repelling blasts, things like that. So for example, we have some damage here. We've got a barbarian. Now let's say we want to make some space between us because we're not happy with how close he is to us. We can do 3. And not only did we fling him away, but we did 28 damage, which is a big chunk. A very, very big chunk. And if you can do that from, say, up here and throw an enemy off, not only will you do 30 plus damage, you also do a lot of full damage. And you can see there, the tentacles have him trapped where he is. Okay, number 5, we have Conjure Woodland Being. Conjure a Dryad to fight alongside you. She can use Nature Step, entangle enemies, and summon a Wood Woad. Now this is a phenomenal spell. I love this, because not only do you get one summon, but when it is their turn, they can also call upon their Fallen Lover, as it's stated, and you get 2 summons. And not only are these summons very tanky, they also are very good damage dealers, as I will show you now. Okay, so it's now the Dryad's turn, and as I said, she can summon a Fallen Lover, so let's summon them just here. So now you have 2 very good summons. Now, unfortunately that is our turn, but then you can do something such as a Strengthened Shillelagh. This gives you 6 to 34 bludgeoning damage, and uses spellcasting ability for attack rolls. Now this lasts 10 turns, but this is bulk damage. Okay, so it's now the Dryad's turn, and we will shoot just how much damage you can do. 25, and that doesn't even include the Wood Woad's turn. Now, these guys are resistant to poison damage, please bear that in mind, so you could throw your Wood Woad into the middle of a cloud kill and start dealing hefty damage, which is where the pair of these work so conjunctively together. It's amazing. At number 4 we have Thunder Wave. Release a wave of thunderous force that pushes away all creatures and objects. This is an amazing spell if you can throw people off of balconies or edges or anything. This is the spell that single-handedly won me the Draw Razzling fight when I was severely underleveled, because I threw him into the cage of spiders. And now we'll show you how this works. Now unfortunately they save, we will try that again, but that is the general gist of it. You use Thunder Wave and the enemies go flying. My third favourite spell in Baldur's Gate 3 is Counter Spell. Now this is unfortunately a spell I've tried so hard to be able to give you a demonstration of, but I'm sure if you played this game to any extent and used this, you will know the gist of it. It uses a reaction, and you basically decide what level you're going to cast Counter Spell once an enemy uses a spell, and you can just counter out their spell. It's as simple as it sounds. You do have to make sure that the counter spell you've chosen is of the same or higher level to cancel out their spell. But this is a spell that will really save you, especially if you have enemies that try and cast something like a polymorph or a cloud kill or anything like that. Anything that is a high damage dealing spell, counter spell really can be your best friend. Even using it to stop things such as Misty Step or something to keep the enemies trapped where you want them really can be the difference between winning a fight and losing a fight. And now talking of Misty Step, my second favourite spell in the game is Misty Step. Surrounded by silver mist, you teleport to an unoccupied space you can see. Misty Step is amazing, whether you need to get to a higher level from where you are, whether you need to get yourself out of danger. Misty Step really is one of the best spells in the game. So for example, let's put ourselves up here, and we will once again try to do Thunder Wave. Now we're just going to go for broke. We're going to hit it at level 5, and this is the whole gist of Thunder Wave. It's to throw the enemies as far as you can, and as you can see we did 71 bits of damage, and he is very much dead. He has been flung halfway across the map, and he is now just laying in a puddle of his own blood. That is the benefit of using something such as Thunder Wave from the advantageous position we were in. And finally, my number 1 favourite spell in all of Baldur's Gate 3, Scroll of Otto's Irresistible Dance. Now this is the scroll version. Wizards can get this at level 6. Cause a creature to start dancing, make it unable to take actions or move. Its attacks have advantage on attack rolls. The dancer has disadvantage on attack rolls and dexterity saving throws. This is a concentration spell, but this is amazing as there is no save DC. You can cast this spell on anyone, and they will instantly stop attacking you and start dancing. This spell alone won me Baldur's Gate 3. It got me through so many of the tricky fights. It got me through Orin. It got me through the Murder Tribunals. I will not spoil who is in that quest, just to anyone that hasn't watched it. It got me through the fight with Gortash. It got me through the fight with Ketheric. This spell is the best spell in the game in my opinion. And it is as simple as that, and then they just start dancing. And that leaves you free to just rain death on them, pretty much. See, they failed their athletics check. And as long as you can keep concentration on it, it is essentially 10 rounds to deal as much damage as you can. And the best part of this if you hit them, the spell does not end. They continue dancing. It's very, very good. You can throw this on an enemy you can't beat, and you essentially have 10 rounds, as long as you can keep concentration up, to kill the enemy. It really is that simple. That has been my 10 best spells of Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know below what are your favourite spells. If you have your own top 10 list, let me know. If you've enjoyed, please drop a video a like. If you're new and you're not subscribed, if you'd like to, that'd also be amazing. And hopefully, guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.